Roquan Smith to the Ravens, a deal, a trade right before the deadline. He's kind of good. He's kind of good with that, right? He'll do that, especially when it comes to defensive players. We'll have to hold on the other need that the Ravens and well, specifically Ravens fans, I think more than anything, want to see. But is it enough? Is it enough to bolster this team from blown fourth quarter leads to potential contender? Who knows? All right, what is going on, good people? There is big news on the horizon. Flag Nation Speaks episode. What is this? 22, I think. Big news on the horizon for the Ravens, for this defense at least. Which is anybody really surprised when it comes to the defensive additions? I mean, you had Marcus Williams in the offseason, you had Kyle Fuller in the offseason. Now you have one Roquan Smith. Big deal? No big deal. It's a lot. But what's going on? DJ from Beal Productions right here. Flock Nation Speaks. I'm excited. This is the weekly episode, probably from last week. I probably ended up just doing 2 episodes, but big news to start this one out with Roquan Smith. I'll start with that first. Roquan Smith traded to the Ravens for what, a second and a fifth. But is there a bigger move on the way? Who knows? So my thoughts. Roquan Smith, my initial reaction was, let's go. That was really my initial reaction. I think I bothered everybody at work, but luckily for me, I work from home today, so there you go. But I was hyped. This is a good move, even though I understand everyone, including me, wants a wide receiver, but considering this is a big move. This is bigger than getting Yannick Ngakoue. This is probably bigger than getting Marcus Peters too, even though Marcus Peters was a season-changing trade. Roquan Smith is one of the, if not the best middle linebacker in the game. And I know a lot of people say a second and a fifth is essentially what, a first-round pick or whatever. But are you going to get a better linebacker? If linebackers in need, are you going to get a better linebacker in the first round than Roquan Smith right now? You're sure not. So Roquan Smith to the Ravens is huge for a couple of reasons. First things first, it continues to allow Patrick Queen to roam around a little bit and play the type of football that he plays at the middle linebacker position. He is not the Mike linebacker. He hasn't been for the last couple of years, and it's helped him, or at least the last season, half season now, and then season last year. Once they kind of took that tag off him and let him do his thing, play his original position, he became better. Now, he's had his ups, he's had his downs, but I think there's been mainly ups when he's been put in the proper position. Once again, that's coaching, right? Put it in the proper positions to be successful. Having Roquan Smith be able to fly around with Patrick Queen is huge, because Josh Bynes has been doing a heck of a job roaming around with Patrick Queen. You telling me you put a faster, younger guy at that position, that's probably the best thing you could have. Another big defensive trade from Eric DeCosta, and it makes you wonder, what's next, right? What's next? Are you satisfied with that, or is there more movement to come? Now, I know, if I'm not mistaken, I've heard a lot about the Ravens not having a lot of picks, right? They don't have like the 3 or 4 fourth rounders they had last year to kind of unload in a big trade haul or anything like that. But also at the same time, I'm sitting here thinking, how contracts come into play, right? How Roquan Smith is at the end of his rookie deal, and you're going to have to pay him in the offseason. Lamar Jackson, that's the end of his rookie deal. You're going to have to pay him in some form or fashion in the offseason. So that's 2 guys you got to pay. You got to pay Marcus Peters too if you want to keep him. So that's another big deal when it comes down to this overall team. One on the defensive end, one on the offensive end. And to give up a second and a fifth, are you really going to have Roquan come in for a rental? I don't think so, especially considering the Ravens do value, number one, defense, but number two, the middle linebacker position. We all know this. CJ Mosley, right? We all know this. Of course, Ray Lewis. You know, now having Roquan Smith, Patrick Queen was a high pick. Who was it? Was it Arthur Brown? I think was also a high pick at the middle linebacker position. They value the middle linebacker position, but is that enough to keep Roquan Smith here? I guess we'll see. It's very interesting though, because once again, the Ravens slide all the chips to the table for defense. Now, does that leave room for an offensive addition? That's the question, right? Because you signed Deshaun Jackson. He hasn't played yet. You signed, or did they trade for Izzy? No, they signed Andy Isabella. You signed Andy Isabella. Hasn't seen the field yet. Bateman's hurt for at least 4 to 6 weeks. Your top guy in terms of outside wide receivers. So you're left with Duvernay, Demarcus Robinson, Prochet, Andy Isabella, Deshaun Jackson. That's what you're left with. So what do you do? Do you make a move for a guy like DJ Moore? It's tough too because they have to pay guys. So you don't want to trade for everybody that's a 1-year rental, do you? That's I think that's the question that I'm having too. Like DJ Moore, there's money offloaded with that. And you know, we know the Ravens organization when it comes to paying wide receivers. So then at the same time, so you got DJ Moore. I've heard a little bit about Claypool. I just don't see the Steelers trading Claypool to the Ravens. I just don't see it. Even in a year where they want to maybe even rebuild, I just don't see them trading Claypool to the division rival in the Ravens. Would I take Claypool? Yes, absolutely. Especially, it's a young guy on a rookie deal, and I think that's what they're leaning towards anyway. I heard a lot of reports about Jerry Jeudy, who is the guy I want. I was literally dancing, saying, "We want Jerry Jeudy. We want Jerry Jeudy." Like it was like this: "We want Jerry Jeudy. We want." I was like that. It was like I want Jerry Jeudy. I want Jerry Jeudy. I know he's got the drops issues. Dang on, if they don't put these receivers on the drugs machine and make them catch 1,000 balls before they leave. Like I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there. No, but for real though, like I think catching in the same way that fumbles can be improved. But that's kind of the issue, right? If you go after a wide receiver, I don't know what I think Judy's the only one that I kind of know apparently drops the ball. I don't know about like Claypool or anybody like that. I know Mims is out there too. It's tough because I think that's where the issues come in. When it comes to, people talk about playoff time and what's going to happen when the playoffs gets here, who's going to make the plays, right? And we've seen big drops in playoff games. Mark Andrews sometimes goes silent in playoff games. So you got to have a guy that can potentially open things up a little bit and make some plays with the ball in his hands and not on the ground. So that's a big deal. I'm hoping for Jerry Jeudy because I think Jerry Jeudy is the best of all the options. He's a good route runner. Probably can teach some other guys a thing or two about route running too. You all learn from each other. Iron sharpens iron. He's a good route runner. He's in his rookie deal, so you don't have to pay him immediately. And he can showcase a lot, it gives him a chance to kind of restart a little bit because he's had some kind of okay seasons, but he's also had spotty quarterback play. And that's a big deal when you're a wide receiver. You need the quarterback to deliver the football to you. I would love to see Jerry Jeudy. I think Jerry Jeudy is a guy who can do a little bit of both. He's got the speed, he's got the route running, and I think he'll go up and grab the jump balls too. So I'm hoping that Jerry Jeudy is the next one. Now, I don't even know what picks the Ravens have left to even go after a guy like Jerry Jeudy. Does it involve a player or something? Maybe a Nick Boyle, which no one's going to take Nick Boyle for Jerry Jeudy straight up like that, but Nick Boyle and a pick or two, right? Like some of these guys that you're not using, you're not utilizing at all. they're just there. That'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see because the Ravens are not big on grabbing offensive guys to fix issues they have on the offensive end. They're just like, oh, we're just going to make it work. And it's gotten you bounced out of the playoffs in early rounds in the last couple of years. So I think you need to reinvent the wheel here and get one more guy. I mean, I've been talking about it all season. I feel like they're one receiver away. Imagine Jerry Jeudy with a healthy Bateman finally, right? With Duvernay, the way he's been playing. I mean, shoot, if you can get the ball to Marcus Robinson, he's going to work hard with it at least. Like, I mean, you got that. Like, imagine somebody who's always open, right? Jerry Jeudy runs great routes. And I'm not saying he's always open, but imagine somebody who can consistently get open along with these other guys. Because now you technically got two guys who can consistently get open. You got Bateman, who has shown he can get open, but can he stay on the field? But at the same time, you need one more guy. You need one more guy because now it's like, hey, we can key in on Mark Andrews, and that's about it. I'm worried about Bateman, but all I gotta do is put my top corner over there. We good. Focus on 8. So that's my biggest thing. I'm happy about the Roquan Smith addition, but all the other young quarterbacks got top receivers. All of them. Jalen Hurts they were questioning if he should be even at the position. And they got him A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, and now the Eagles are Super Bowl contenders. Josh Allen. Got him Stephon Diggs. He been going off ever since. Mahomes got a chance to play with Tyreek. That helped out a little bit too, because I mean, Tyreek's always open too. Like there's not a lot of times where Tyreek is not open. So if DJ Moore is out there and you can get him, especially while the Panthers are trying to offload everything they can, I think this is the opportunity to go after him. Right? You missed on Robbie, so maybe go for DJ Moore. I know we got DJ at home, but Deshaun Jackson ain't playing yet. So I'm gonna need y'all I'm gonna need EDC to go ahead and make this offensive move. That's gonna be the thing. I'm gonna need him to make this offensive move, and let's take this offense and put them over the top. So Roquan Smith to the Ravens after a pretty good defensive game last week with the Buccaneers, right? The Buccaneers had a really good defensive game. The Ravens had a really good defensive game against the Buccaneers. It was like a tale of two halves, right? It was literally a tale of two halves. You didn't know what you were going to get in that game. I mean, Lamar Jackson threw the ball 30 times in the first half, and it didn't really feel like it was going anywhere because there is no like breakaway type of feat. There's nobody that's going to break away from anybody like that. And then, they started running the ball in the second half. And I think Gus is a huge portion of this because I feel like the offense will continue to get better as the run game continues to get healthy, right? JK helped out the offense a lot when he came back in because you're an offensive scheme that leans on running game, but you don't have the backs to do what you need to do. Now, Gus comes back, and we've seen a couple of good offensive games because Gus is back, and you can lean on that run game a little bit more than you've been able to because of the injuries. So I think it was a tale of two halves. I think defensively it was pretty good. Defensively it was pretty good, and I think offensively, I think the biggest thing I took from the Ravens Buccaneers game was the halftime adjustments. That's something that has been an issue, especially in the playoffs, plenty of times, right? Where it's like there's no adjustment to the punch that you just received. There's no counter punch. But then it looked like, at least in the Buccaneers game, they said, let's change it up a little bit, or let's go back to what we know, which is the running game. It felt like they were trying to spread it around to kind of test these the young corners that were out there. And obviously that didn't work, partly probably because, it's two things. It's the scheme, but at the same time, it's like you don't have the personnel. You don't have the personnel to throw the ball 30 times in the first half. So because you don't have the personnel, you got to figure out a way to get around that. And a lot of that for the Ravens is the run game, because the run game can set up your pass game. Because now we got, think about it. Last year, the Ravens were forced into passing the ball for the simple fact of they couldn't run the ball. There was no, there was no backs out there. Like they were picking up guys off the street. Latavius Murray, Devontae Freeman, and Le'Veon Bell. I think all of them scored touchdowns last year, and that was the running game. After J.K. and Gus got hurt, and Justice Hill too. Like that was the running game. So now, as the running game continues to get more healthy, I think the offense will continue to get better. I think the Bucs game was a big win for the simple fact of you made those adjustments, but at the same time, you showcased that, hey, if we don't have Mark Andrews in the game, if we don't have Bateman in the game, we can spread it around. We can scheme these guys open. These guys can make plays. We just got to get on the ball. And, I don't know if they'll rest Andrews and Bateman potentially this week, because, you get a really long period. They get a really long period of time off if they do so. You get the long week, Thursday to Monday, and then you get the bye week after that. So, you got the bye week after you play on Monday night. So what does that mean? Does that get a little bit more? Of course, Bateman is out for a couple of weeks, but with Andrews, do you give him a little extra rest, because likely showed some good signs, and you still have Boyle on the roster up until this point at the moment. So what do you do? But I think the Bucs game. I think the Bucs game. I think it was a good win. It was a worthy win. I know the Bucs aren't looking as good as they should be, but they're the Bucs, right? If they make it to the playoffs, people are going to say they're still a dangerous team because Tom Brady's still playing quarterback, and they still have the talent as long as they can get healthy. So that's a lot of it too. But I feel like I'm excited. I feel excited. Full circle. I feel excited about this Roquan Smith edition, and I feel like too, what it proves to, I think, from a fan's perspective, I think what it proves is they trust the pass rush with Tyus Bowser and David Ajobo coming in, and helping out with Owe. Justin Houston's been pretty much a menace, right? Like, it helps that aspect of the game when it comes to the pass rush. And they're not worried about the corners, because if the corners don't have to cover for as long, then they won't have to, because there's a better pass rush. They're good enough in coverage unless they have to cover for too long. So I think that's going to be, I think they're not worried about the pass rush right now, but we'll see how they feel about the receiving core, over pretty much the next, 18-ish hours. We'll see. Because I think it's midday. I want to say it's midday when the trade deadline is tomorrow. I think it's at 12 or 10 or something weird like that. But it might be at 2. It's probably at 2. But anyway, I feel like this Roquan Smith addition is good. It's a good addition. It's a big deal, especially having him and PQ play alongside of each other. I think it's going to be good. As Marcus Williams gets back into the fold, with Chuck and Kyle Hamilton, working to get better. I think it's gonna be big. Still be interesting to see if they sign another corner to add a little bit of depth to the team, or if they put Geno Stone back at corner, because he's kind of been playing more safety lately. I'm not necessarily saying I trust Geno Stone at corner for depth, but we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting to see what they go with. But in the Halloween spirit, question of the day. I was going to start with the question of the day, but the news was there, so I waited on it. Question of the day for Halloween: what's your favorite Halloween candy? I guess this could be an overall favorite candy. Regardless, is it the Skittles? Them sour Skittles that they took off the market. They tricked us. They took them off the market. They was pretty good. But I feel like favorite Halloween candy kind of goes with my favorite candy overall. It's got to be the Snickers. It's got to be the Snickers. Now, I will say this, like I was saying last week, the candy corn, when it comes to the Halloween season, is about the only time you can eat it. You know, it's up there because I don't want to see any I don't even know if they produce candy corn after Halloween. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if they really even produce it after Halloween, but I will say candy corn is pretty good. It's pretty good. But I feel like the Snickers just got the best of everything in it, right? Like you take your favorite candy bar, except for them little them weird wafers that the Kit Kat's got in them. Even though the Kit Kat is good, but it ain't got the wafer because that just be too much. But Snickers is I mean, it's the best. It's the goat of all candies. There's no need to debate this. And I guess it probably does depend though on what type of candy you're in the field for. Because like I think chocolate wise, Snicker would be the best. I think if you're going for something like a chewy, like in the like Sour Patch Skittles range, considering I just made Skittles a range, I feel like Skittles is the winner. And the kind of sour candy, like Sour Patch Kids, like y'all can take them. Y'all can take them. I will literally pass you all the Sour Patch Kids. I don't care if they watermelon, cucumber, blueberry. It don't matter. It don't matter. Like no. Like Sour Patch is terrible. Like that. That's on the low end of the totem pole. But anyway, what is your favorite Halloween candy? Which one? Which one is when you come back with the bucket of candy? Which one are you saying? You know what, man? I hope I got 100 of them. Bubblegum's also a good one. I don't feel like people buy bubblegum just to buy bubblegum. So when you get it, you're like, oh man, okay, I'm good. I'm good with the bubblegum because I mean everybody buys Skittles and everybody buys Sour Patch Kids. Everybody buys that stuff, but you know the bubblegum when they're coming at a bazooka or something, you just never know. But anyway, as always, we'll see you guys on the next one. Roquan Smith to the Ravens. I think it beefs the defense back up. And I heard somebody say the defense better not allow no more than 17 points for the rest of the season. And I agree because the defensive issue was what? Giving up big leads in the second half. Regardless of what the offense does, the defense can't get that crucial stop. Now, does Roquan Smith give you that crucial stop? Possibly. I think the combination of adding in Roquan Smith with PQ, right, with the expensive cast of corners that we have, and you know Marcus Williams coming back, Chuck Clark, you know, doing his job. I think it could add that extra element to hold on to leads, but we'll see. We will definitely see. But you know, as always, you can watch Flock Nation Speaks on Facebook or YouTube. Also, you can listen to Flock Nation Speaks every single episode on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts. There's some other ones out there. Be sure to Google it. You can find Flock Nation Speaks wherever you enjoy your podcasting things. But as always, definitely hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys on the next one, which will be the Ravens preview for Monday Night Football. Should be fun. Another primetime game. Last one of the season. Let's see how it goes. Until next